If you were to ask your average 90s kid what their favorite Disney movie was, chances are they'd say The Lion King. With its epic music, grand scale, beautiful animation, memorable songs, and circle of life message, it became one of Disney's highest grossing movies ever. Yeah, I know that it's cool to make fun of Disney nowadays, but you can't deny that they have made some wonderful, timeless films. And The Lion King is one of their most beautiful films, even if it is basically a ripoff of Simba the White Lion. The movie has a lot of great moments, but there is one scene that sticks out to me. Granted, it's not the best scene, but I don't think that it's talked about enough. Mainly because it's one of the more subtle scenes in The Lion King. It may not be as flashy as I Can't Wait to Be King, or as entertaining as Scar's triumph with the hyenas, but there is something to be said for subtlety. It's the moment where young Simba meets up with Scar. We start off with a disgruntled Scar as he tosses away a few bones in frustration. Simba shows up, much to his annoyance, and announces how he's going to be king one day. Being his youthful, naive self, Simba fails to read the room as he can't discern Scar's sarcastic quips. Scar's sarcastic remarks are entertaining enough, but what really gets me about the scene are two things. One is Scar's remark about being a monkey's uncle. I didn't think much of this line at first, as it comes across as Scar being self-deprecating and silly. However, he's not. By calling himself a monkey's uncle, he's actually talking about Simba. Simba is the monkey while Scar is the uncle, which shows just how little he thinks of him. You have to remember, in the Lion King's hierarchy, monkeys are a lower class compared to the lions. Rafiki may be important, but in the movie, most monkeys are considered an afterthought, so it's a real insult to Simba. It's like calling a prince a filthy peasant. In fact, Disney was so proud of that monkey's uncle line that they just had to use it again in a later scene.
The monkey's his uncle?
No!
In this scene, you'll also notice that Simba is in the light while Scar is covered in the shadows. It's pretty obvious that the light stands for the good guys, while the shadows stand for evil, darkness, and the willingness to hide something. In fact, Scar plots his schemes in literal darkness, as the elephant graveyard would indicate. But what really gets me about this scene is how Scar manipulates Simba into going there. This scene is played to perfection by Jeremy Irons, as he knows how to make Scar so slimy and deliciously evil. The way he masterfully tricks Simba is something that was lost on me as a kid, but looking at it now, it's really brilliant how he does it. Instead of telling Simba right off the bat to go there, he manages to lead up to it, making the conversation feel natural. This is a tactic that master manipulators know how to use, as being too obvious will make the conversation feel forced and cause the victim to catch on. He asks Simba if his father had shown him the whole kingdom, and Simba replies that he did, only that he's not allowed to enter the shadowy place. Instead of telling Simba to just go there, he actually responds that his father is correct, that he shouldn't go there. With that in mind, why doesn't Scar just say, "Hey Simba, I know of this really cool place. It's the elephant graveyard. You should go there." But he doesn't. There are two reasons why he doesn't. The first is reverse psychology. He puts the first phase of his plan in action by claiming that only the bravest lions go there. Since Simba is a dumb kid, Scar knows he's willing to endanger himself just to prove he's brave. The thing with kids is that they don't want to be treated like kids, they want to be treated like adults. They want to be seen as brave and capable, even if they can't understand the ramifications of their actions. Kids want to go to places that only adults can go, do things that only they can do, like driving cars and working the stove. Of course, this sort of whining can lead to them getting into all sorts of trouble, like setting the house on fire or getting expelled. Scar is savvy enough to understand that, as Simba demonstrates how much he wants to be an adult, like having a mane, ruling a kingdom, and having a great big roar! As for the elephant graveyard, it's highly unlikely that only the bravest lions go there, since most of them want nothing to do with hyenas. Even if that were true, it's not something Scar would say if he was honestly concerned about the well-being of his favorite nephew. He then puts the second phase in action by pretending to keep it a secret from Simba, thus piquing his interest and making him want to go there all the more. After all, there is something alluring about secrets. When something is kept from us, It's only natural to want to find out, even if it's not in our best interests. Kids are very curious by design, mainly because they are new to the world and are learning bit by bit. Unfortunately, this comes with a certain ignorance, which unscrupulous adults like Scar know how to use to their advantage. The third phase comes into play when Scar pretends to let it slip. This is actually a pretty devious tactic, as he remarks that Simba was clever enough to figure it out. By stroking his ego, he has managed to embolden Simba into thinking he could go there and get away with it. Hey, if Simba is clever enough to weasel it out of Scar, then he should be clever enough to enter the graveyard and come out okay. The fourth phase begins when Scar makes Simba promise he will never enter that place. Now this is prime reverse psychology. You know how as a kid you were told not to do something, yet that made you want to do it even more? It's the sort of thing that can make someone feel delightfully mischievous, bringing out their inner rebel. The thought of doing something taboo can be really exciting, as it's so daring, so cool. At least until you grow up and realize how much harm you caused, forcing you to go into therapy and waste thousands of dollars. What? I'm not projecting. Being a rebel himself, Scar knows just how effective this tactic is, which is why he pretends to be looking out for Simba, when in reality, he's planning ideas in his head. And we can't overlook the other reason he's telling Simba not to go. By forbidding Simba, he's also providing deniability for himself. For instance, if Simba were to get caught going to the elephant graveyard, he could say something to the effect of, "Uncle Scar said I could go." In doing so, Scar would be either executed or banished, completely ruining his plans. He would have no chance to get close to Simba or Mufasa again, and everyone would see him for the shady liar he is. So even if Simba were to tell his parents that Scar revealed to him the location of the elephant graveyard, Scar could simply say, "Don't look at me, I told him not to go there." In that case, Scar would have an alibi, making Simba responsible. And he could also say that Simba weaseled it out of him. So Scar telling Simba that it's their little secret is not him being playful, it's him trying to cover up his true intentions. This scene is a testament to Scar's ruthlessness, as well as his brilliance as a master tactician. He is a manipulator who is only in it for himself. He obviously doesn't care about his family, nor does he care about the hyenas. To him, they're just a tool to get what he wants. When he's promising them great things, he's merely manipulating them to seize power, which is why he had no qualms about throwing them under the bus. Yes, everybody knows about the Be Prepared song, but I thought I should talk about this one scene as very well written and superbly acted. Scar is one of the more intriguing, charismatic villains in the Disney universe, which is far more than what I can say about Disney's more recent ones. So if you like this video, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Hakuna Matata, everyone.